Kapelo CEO Botswana Stock Exchange.
My name is Tsametse Molai. I'm the head of listings and trading department at the Botswana Stock Exchange.
When a company lists in the stock exchange, it basically accesses the public platform to raise capital or to let initial founders of the company to get money or to exit out of the company. And they do this by selling part of their shareholders and then getting money from members of the public or asset managers in exchange for shares.
The Botswana Stock Exchange has two boards on which an entity can list. The senior board is the main board, what we call the main board. The other board on which an entity can list is the Venture Capital Market Board. You only need 75 shareholders to list your company on the venture board, and 5% of those must be what we term public investors. You need not have a history of operations. The minimum capital to be raised on the venture board is 500,000 currently, and on the main board is 1 million pula. For an entity to be listed on the main board, it has to have 300 shareholders or 300 investors, and 20% of those investors must be what is termed public. They must be public investors. In order for you to be admitted to list on the main board, as an entity, you must have been operating for the last 5 years. You must present 5-year historical information, 3 years of which must be detailed and audited. The first 2 years may be in summary. If you're going to list preference shares on the main board, you just need to have 25 investors for your preference shares. Or if you're going to list your debentures, it's only 10 investors required.
2017 was a very successful year in respect of listings for the BSE. For the bond market, we had about 3.7 billion pula worth of listing, and this is about 8 new bonds coming to the market. Most importantly, we had the first supranational listing by IFSC, which listed the first ever AAA supranational bond in Botswana. This is going to add as an attraction to future listing by supranational companies. We had the first US dollar denominated bond by Investec, and this is a very good initiative or a very good introduction to the market, because it shows that as a stock exchange you are able to accept foreign currency denominated instruments. In respect of equities, we had 3 new listings which were worth about 2.3 billion pula.
Twice a year, you are expected to publish your your financial information, your financial statements. Half yearly, you have to publish your interim financial statements. On an annual basis, you have to publish the audited financial statements within 3 months of the year end. Once you are a listed entity, all the transactions that you do have to be categorized. And this categorization speaks to how much information you have to give to your shareholders. The process from the first application to the final approval by the main committee of the Botswana Stock Exchange normally takes about a month. This depends on the quality of the submission.
There are several reasons why it is good for a company to come to the market. Number one, the stock exchange provides a platform where a company can actually publicize itself, because the stock market is talked about on a daily basis, and this gives an opportunity for a company to be able to be marketable in itself. Majority of the companies in the domestic board were able to use a listing to expand to other regions.
The cost depends largely on the work which needs to be done on the applicant to ready it to become a listed entity. When you finally get approved to list, you shall be charged a listing fee which will be between 50,000 and 200,000 pula, which is essentially dependent on 0.025% of your market capitalization, which depends on the value of your company at listing. There is also a documentation fee, which is 40,000 pula. So all in all, you find that you will not be charged anything which is more than 240,000 pula.
Our call is that a lot of companies in Botswana can basically come to raise capital in the market to expand their productive capacities in future or at present. Over and above that, it also improves the governance elements of a company.
My name is Bukete Mukhosi. I'm Chief Executive Officer at Stockbrokers Botswana.
My name is Gregory Matsake. I'm Chief Executive Officer at Imara Capital Securities.
My name is Kabelo Mohotlo. I am the Managing Director for African Alliance Botswana Securities, a local stockbroking firm.
Our role as brokerage mainly is to act as a liaison between you, the company, the prospective company, and the Botswana Stock Exchange. Our roles as stockbrokers is mainly to advise on the requirements of listing and to help you fill out the necessary documentation. But you also advise the board of directors as well about the roles and responsibilities that they'll undertake as a listings company.
In terms of the Botswana Stock Exchange listing requirements, it is a must that a company that does these areas of listing appoint a sponsoring broker. Their role as a member of the exchange is to vet this entity that is looking to list.
We are basically the ones who are going to be going through all the documents which are required by the BSE to be submitted for one to be considered for a listing. Having worked with the BSE for so many years, we are now familiar with exactly what they're looking for. We know the players in the market who will be able to assist with the different sectors of putting the documents together.
Listing in itself should show people how resilient your business is. In terms of the misconception, I would say that there are more positives than negatives. So the misconceptions basically come out of misinformation. They come out of, I think, a lack of knowledge, which is something that we as a broker, the exchange, and your corporate financial advisor will handhold you and basically take you through that process. So when it comes to misconceptions, I think the biggest one is people are worried about losing total control of their company. I don't think that's the case.
The long and short of misconceptions is that you lose control of the business and it's now handed over to the public who have now invested in the business. That is not true. The business obviously has to have collective minds coming together to do what is best for the business and the shareholders.
The listing on the Botswana Stock Exchange is a good experience. You are listing in an exchange that operates in a country that has good corporate governance, a country that is stable, a country with good economic principles. So that whole platform gives you an opportunity for you to be able to go into the world stage. We've seen the likes of Turnstar, we've seen the likes of Letshego, who are now companies that operate on an international stage. They are well known by both domestic and institutional investors. So you can see the progression that these companies have gone through. And you never know, tomorrow it might be your company.
I'm Kelebogile Kewahamang Harabamono. I'm a partner at Rantau Kewahamang Attorneys. I am in charge of the corporate commercial department of the law firm.
My name is Dutch Bisan Leburu. I'm an attorney at Muntamarum & Company. It's a law firm in Botswana, Gaborone.
Lawyers at a general level give the listing process structural, contractual, as well as regulatory integrity. Lawyers also advise you on the regulatory and compliance aspects that are required to prepare you for listing. The first thing they do is what is called legal due diligence. This is a process that basically involves an evaluation of the company as a whole. Lawyers also then come up with advice that is tailor-made to the outcome of the legal due diligence, and they give you proposals and options based on what it is that needs to be done, from the due diligence exercise.
A due diligence process will make inquiries as to whether your company is registered, your company has filed the necessary returns, your company has a certificate of incorporation, your company is compliant in terms of the requirements of the Companies Act.
They also assist you to draft the necessary contracts and review contracts, and also assist in the drafting of the listing documents and also the submission of the listing documents to the stock exchange.
The particular entity must pass certain tests, and the primary test is the eligibility test. The eligibility test says, okay, you are a company. Does your company comply with the Companies Act?
I would advise companies to engage lawyers as lead advisors, of course, depending on whether that particular lawyer has the necessary project management skills.
It is important when you identify your financial advisor, your legal advisor, to pick an advisor who would have time for you so that you can handhold the client throughout the process.